Welcome to another $4 million Strategies, the best 4 minutes in business for practical strategy and tips you could apply to your business today. Excited to have with us Lewis Schiff. He is the chairman of Birthing of Giants. Today's discussion, how to create a defensible market for your business.
Carl, this is as important as it gets, because when you have something defensible, you really have, and you could demonstrate that it's scalable. Really hard to find those two together. But if you have something defensible and scalable, man, you are sitting on the money box. So working towards that over the long term is very important. A lot of us start our businesses to solve problems for our clients, and we don't necessarily think about how to make things defensible. That takes time. I think the truth is that when you have embedded yourself in your industry, let's say you have 10 clients or 100 clients, whatever makes you, who you are, probably you have used a lot of really smart people, loyal people, caring people, hardworking people to deliver the goods. And you're probably going to have to rethink your value proposition if you want to make it more defensible. One of them is it's not really defensible to have a lot of, hardworking, loyal people who are probably underpaid. I mean, the truth of the matter is most of us start our entrepreneurial endeavors by, finding people in our neighborhood or people in our network who are willing to work for a little less. After all, who would want to work for a small company, right? I mean, in a perfect world, you work for Google, where they have, foosball and free food and the best healthcare benefits in the world. And we have none of those things to offer them. So we usually do it through a dint of our personality. Come on board, you'll be close to the top, you'll have opportunity to grow. And that workforce, it turns out, is not necessarily the most defensible workforce when there's other people who've been doing it better, longer, and are more expert. So for example, I see a lot of companies hire, call somebody a CFO, but in kind of Fortune 500 terms, they're anything but a CFO. They're sort of a glorified VP of finance. You probably called them a CFO because they were thinking of leaving the company, and you said, "What if I make you the CFO?" But so defensible means making sure that your workforce is extremely skilled and experienced at the thing you are good at. Okay, and that's a hard nut to crack because those people, that human capital element is so hard. The second would be to make sure that there's some proprietary tech, and I'm using the word tech short on purpose. Tech meaning technique or technology. Technology is not always software. Sometimes it's a technique. One of my students had a meat processing business, very high-end organic meats, and they sold the typical 10 cuts of meat that you're familiar with at every great steakhouse. But there was a ton of the cow was left over, and the technique there was extracting a lot more value out of that cow and then selling those cuts of meat in a direct-to-consumer e-commerce business, as opposed to the meat wholesaling business, which was the sort of starting point. So I would say the technique there was being a better butcher. That's not software, that's a better butcher. So just be very open-minded about what technique is or technology is in your company, but you're going to have to figure out how your workforce is the best in the world at what you do, not just the people that you convinced to join you at the beginning of the journey. And you're going to have to figure out what your tech is, your technique or technology is, that give you some kind of proprietary ownership. And the third and last I'll say is it's your clients, right? So, some clients are more likely to switch because you're not the lowest cost provider. And some clients kind of don't care if you're the lowest cost provider as long as you're doing a good job. And a very good example of that is the government. I don't care if you're talking about state government, local government, or federal government. Generally speaking, they're not going to switch providers even if you're 10 cents more than the next guy, because they're not really motivated by, the lowest cost. They're kind of motivated by getting the job done. So you got to think really carefully about whether you have clients and a market that you serve that is genuinely interested in what you do, irrespective of whether you're the lowest cost provider.
Great insights, Lewis. Thank you so much for being part of $4 million Strategies. Everyone else is listening. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please encourage you to subscribe, like, and share with others. Thank you so much. It means the world to us. With that, have a great day.